Welcome to the Golden Road Podcast.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Grace.
We met at a wedding,
walked across America,
renovated a short bus,
and now we're living in Delaware until our next big adventure.
We're happy to have you here.
Let's get spicy.
Hello and welcome back to the Golden Road Podcast.
Here we are, episode number 6. We are going from Parker, Arizona to Phoenix, Arizona.
This is a jam-packed episode. A lot of things happen. It's the rest of our desert stretch, which we're going to have to tackle.
Arizona was a big state. For not just like walking across it mileage-wise, but I mean like a lot of things happened in Arizona.
Okay, let's get right into it. We are recording this podcast for the third or fourth time due to some technical difficulties.
What's new?
So we are going to be retelling the story from a fresh perspective. We're starting out in Parker, Arizona, where we left off. And the night we got there, or the night after we got there, we had hung out with our friends Keely and Callan. Callan, you might remember from our last episode, was the guy who stopped in the middle of the desert and thought we were like surveyors because of our top hats. And he referenced the desert as being a blow dryer, which then made Grace very angry.
Because it's true. It just feels like warm heat. Very angry is a little bit extreme.
But yeah, they took us up towards Lake Havasu, not up there.
Yeah, we ate at like a little restaurant thing that was right on the water so that we could see boats and stuff going by, and then there was like a little game thing, and then they gave us $1 to put onto the wall. So we'll have to go back someday to see if our $1 is still there.
And then they gave us some goodies. We got some biscuits and gravy. Foxy got a new toy. They gave us some little blister pouches, which I think we might have used. I don't remember. Yeah, I think there was a time they came in handy.
They were super nice. That was awesome.
And then we spent a day there in Parker. We went to a cool little cafe there, like old school cafe where all the locals went.
Where all the locals told us that the route we were about to take, we were sure to die.
Yeah, and we said, okay, it's nothing new to us so far, so we still got to keep walking. Yeah. Did our usual work stuff, and then we began our walk towards Phoenix. So the goal was to get to Phoenix within 4 or 5 days, I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact mileage, but there was more desert, which we weren't expecting. We thought once we made it through, it was kind of out of that scenery. The scenery changed a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like there were more like hills in the distance, some new cactus.
Yeah, that about explains it. And so this first day back on the road, we're heading towards Baus, which it was another 24, 25 mile day. It was hot. I remember Grace getting annoyed with me that day. I was trying to get pumped up listening to some jams, and she wasn't really having that.
Matt is like so extreme. He's either so quiet or whatever, or he's like screaming in your ear like just woke up or something. There's no warm up period to the being full of energy. It's like switch of a hat.
And this day, I mean, we were really feeling the desert definitely takes it out of you more than you expect, just the heat.
It's so hot, yeah.
And we had made it till probably mile 13, 14, and we decided to get off on the side of the road, and we were really lethargic, like very fatigued. We made an Instagram story saying how we wish we had Wendy's chicken nuggets and Frosties.
Okay, I can't eat this anymore, but if you have never had it, you need to go to Wendy's and get the spicy chicken nuggets and dip it into a chocolate Frosty. Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah.
Have you ever had it?
I feel like maybe we did at one point
together. Oh, it makes
together.
me just want to be bad and get it so bad.
I really have always liked the Wendy's chicken nuggets with ranch. That's just kind of what I always ate
dip
from
it
Wendy's.
in the Frosty.
I haven't been to Wendy's in years.
Oh my gosh.
And we were feeling very sluggish, so we hit it with a Airbon fizz stick. Those things got us jacked. It was our alternative to energy drinks when we didn't have them. Mix it up, gulp it down, and we got wired. In the heat though, those things only get you another 5. They'll last an hour and a half or so, and then you start feeling sluggish again. So we got another 5 or 6 miles in, and then we still had, another 5 miles to go, and that was just a freaking grind.
Just going. And I also started to get hives on my legs and stuff. I don't know if it was from like poor circulation and from being hot or what, but it like was very uncomfortable. It hurt.
And we slowly made our way into town. We stopped at this little market. got some cold beverages.
Well, before that, right, there was a kind lady who had...
I think it was after.
Was it?
I think so.
Regardless, there was a kind lady who had passed us in the morning as she was going into town, the town that we had just come from, to work. And then as she came back, she saw we were still walking, and so she stopped, asked us what we were doing, and she ended up booking us a room at the motel that was up the road. And it was funny.
Ocotillo Lodge.
She didn't. Oh, nice. She didn't tell us the name of it or anything at first because she was like, it's pretty much, there's one lodge, you won't miss it. It's up on the right.
Yeah, the only thing in this town was the Ocotillo Lodge, which maybe had, I don't even remember, 8 to 10 rooms, and a little restaurant/bar. That night it was Taco Tuesday, so we got some tacos, we got some drinks. We didn't shower. The showers weren't per se clean.
You showered, I think.
Yeah, but I was looking at my hair the next day. It was dirty as hell, so I don't think it was like the greatest shower experience.
Well, you just realized that you never knew how to shower before.
I just learned how to shower today. Grace taught me how to wash my hair today. How does it look?
It looks pretty good. I don't know if this is just like, this could just be like an in my head thing, because I still to this day like always think people are looking at me and like thinking things about me that they're probably not. But this was one of those situations where you're in a little bar. I mean, it doesn't help. Well, anyway, you walk in and we are clearly don't live in this small town. We're walking across the United States. That's really weird to like wrap your head around. And we're just sitting with all the locals around us, and I've just felt like not uncomfortable, but I just felt very out of place.
I remember the tacos being very good.
I remember having to take like most of the stuff off the tacos.
Yeah. Okay, this is when Dollar General start to become our thing.
Yeah.
And it not because we want them to, but because that's about all there is. So we got a bunch of crap food again.
We started our next morning by having SpaghettiOs for breakfast.
Yeah, so we fueled up with SpaghettiOs. And the next morning, our goal was to get to a town called Hope. Now, this town called Hope is no longer a town. It's a ghost town.
Which we kind of knew, but we thought there was still at least an RV park there.
And we could have set up the tent. I mean, there's plenty of spots we could have set up the tent, but we were looking for more of a spot that we could get a shower and kind of set our stuff up.
We wanted a cold beverage and food.
And so we kept, that's another 25, 26 mile day. And again, we were reaching kind of like that in between 10 and 15 miles, and we were hitting walls. And so we'd pull off to the side. And Grace, do you want to explain the mastermind meal here?
Oh yeah.
Pros and cons.
Yeah, okay. So we would buy these meals from Walmart, like the Mountain House meals, which to begin with aren't good for you. And then we'd get them, but we were like getting tired of them, or you would eat one and you would feel so hungry. Like we just wanted to, kind of spice it up a little. So we had the chicken teriyaki one, and then we made our beef ramen, and we put the beef ramen into the chicken teriyaki meal to make one big giant calorie packed meal. And by golly, did it taste delicious. But immediately after finishing it, you want to take the longest nap of your life. The last thing that you want to do is keep walking in 90-degree heat.
Yeah, I think that meal was probably like 1,400 calories. Yeah. So we just stuffed it down, hit a fizz stick, hoorah, let's get the music going, and kept on trucking. Yeah. We made it to Hope, and Hope was probably like at mile 19 of the day. And there's nothing. I mean, there's no RV park like we're expecting.
I do feel like, though, even though it was a ghost town, I do feel like we did kind of start to get a little bit more excited, because I remember it starting to be more pretty. And like when we took the left to go, we did kind of go up a hill to start going up towards the KOA and
Siloam.
Siloam. It was getting more pretty. Like there were more foliage type things.
Well, and that stretch is weird because there was a bunch of cacti right there, like the big tall cacti, but it was really only in like a couple mile stretch. I don't know if that was just the way the landscape was, but it was cool.
It was new to us.
Yeah, we had more rolling hills. We had those cacti. It was definitely looking more rattlesnakey than the past stuff, so we were being more careful there.
Literally, a slight breeze would go by, and I'd be like,
ah! And Grace took over about mile 20 after Hope. We finally came up to Siloam, and it's a really small little area, and I I don't even think it was the main part of town. It wasn't.
No, but there was the KOA. But at this point, we had like heard of KOAs, but we had never stayed at a KOA before, so we weren't sure like what are the rules on people walking in and just wanting to set up a tent. Are they gonna let us? Are they gonna be packed? We weren't sure. And first, right before we saw it, there was a restaurant to the right, and so we said, noted, great, be there in a second. And then we went up to the KOA, and there was nobody working like at the main thing, so we just grabbed a sheet and filled out like a little spot, like a tent spot thing. And we booked it. There was a little dog park, so we were excited. We decided to take an off day the next day because we had been booking out these 20+ mile days, and it was just so hot.
We were tired.
We were drained. And this place had a pool. They had a little dog park area. Like we were loving it. And then we went next door and again just kept eating fried food. But it was a nice, like, family friendly. We sat on the patio. Like it was nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Now looking back, it's terrible because Grace is allergic to gluten, and all we're eating is gluten.
Yeah, gluten this, gluten that. I mean, even if you didn't know this, even though ramen is like a rice noodle or whatever, gluten. It's caked in gluten to keep it held together.
And we're drinking sugar nonstop. I mean, if it's not an iced tea at the restaurant, we're getting energy drinks. If it's not an energy drink, we're getting a big gulp.
And not just any sugar. Like, all sugar is not great, but not just any sugar. We're talking high fructose corn syrup. We're talking Red 40. I mean, all the bad stuff that you can imagine.
So we took the off day, which was really nice. Did our usual get work stuff done. And we ended up, here's the thing too, on the walk, we had to walk anywhere we wanted to get groceries, right? So on our off day, we wanted to get a cold beverage and some snacks. Well, the closest spot was 2 miles away, so
Dollar General.
Dollar General. You got to take Timmy, and we had to walk 2.5 miles into town, 2.5 miles back. You're still walking 5 to 7 miles if you want to go get something on your off day. So
like any off day wasn't really an off day. Like, it was so tired until later on when we would be in towns and we could, DoorDash something or something, that was actually a little, even though it was more expensive, it was a blessing because you could actually just stay in one spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were walking everywhere.
And so we did that. We grubbed up at the restaurant again. Anytime we're next to a restaurant, we're grubbing there, and we're grubbing hard, and we don't care how much money we spend. We're just going to fill our bellies. We're going to drink cold beverages, drink coffee, anything we can get our hands on.
Yeah.
And the next day was Grace's birthday. Happy birthday, Grace.
Happy birthday.
And our main goals of Grace's
24.
birthday. Yeah, 24. Main goals of Grace's birthday.
I'm 26 now, for reference.
Get her a birthday cake.
I had a dream the night prior that I smashed a big cake. Looking back, I don't know if I actually had that dream or if I just said it to try and get a cake. I can't remember.
You probably just said it.
I probably did.
You're like, I dreamt of a cake. And we really wanted to use the opportunity to raise as much money as we could for Time in a Bottle because we figured, okay, hey, on our birthdays, let's really try to raise a bunch of money.
Yeah, because it's like a celebration. It's typically a reason people are more willing to give money and donate.
And so right away in the morning, donations started coming quick.
Yeah. Everyone was ready to celebrate the birthday.
And the first stop of the day was in this small little town, which I don't even remember the name of.
I don't either.
But they had, before that, we met the guy at the gas station.
Oh, yeah. He was in his truck with a big white dog, fluffy dog. That's why we first started, being near there, because we thought his dog was super cute. He ended up being kind of a crazy cat, but turns out...
Crazy little desert cat. He was also talking, conspiracy theory stuff with us.
Yeah, he was.
He was talking about COVID, actually, saying that, COVID was going around, but this little town had 0 cases, but apparently the news was saying it was flooded with COVID or something. Remember that?
Dude, he was they were saying a bunch of people were dying, but nobody had COVID there or something.
And we're like, yeah, we don't know, dude.
Yeah, we said we're not sure. We're just walking. But he also had said when he was younger, he would catch rattlesnakes and then he would bring them back to someone, and he would get paid per head he brought back in, a lot of money. And
he knew how to get them. So you were saying 100 per snake. I think it was $20 per snake, but the dude could just go out there in an hour.
What I said was that it's 20 per snake, but back then he was saying it equaled a lot. It would equal maybe $100 now.
Oh, is that true?
I don't know.
But yeah, we talked with him. And then we walked a little bit farther and we found this little cafe. And I don't know if it was called Crystal's Cafe or something, but again, small little area, cafe shop connected to a supermarket. They had a patio area.
When we say patio area, there was one high top table right in the parking lot, and so we were able to sit there, and I'm pretty sure we got fish and chips.
And then good. I went into the supermarket. I found Grace her cake.
And by supermarket, he means a little like tiny store right next to the.
Really tiny, little bit of this, little bit of that. They didn't have candles, so I got matches as candles. Grace made a wish. I'm not sure what happened with that wish.
I don't remember what it was.
And I got some lottery cards because we don't buy lottery cards a lot, but every once in a while, especially on special occasions.
On a side note, Matt is so funny with stuff like this because he's like so stingy with money and like not spending too much. But then randomly we'll like talk about budgeting or something, and then we'll be in a grocery store and he'll be like, take this $5 bill and go get a scratch ticket. I'm like, what? So random.
I do not say take a $5 bill.
Okay, 2, 3. There have been times you give me a $5 bill.
There have been times, but for the most part, it's $1 or $2. And I guess maybe I'm the same as every other person on this earth. And yeah, part of you wants to spend money, which is weird because I don't like spending money. But $1 is different than, hey, let's go buy $40 worth of whatever.
That's like, speaking of spending money, that's like right now talking about all this food we eat, it makes me want to order some DoorDash.
We've been craving that.
We've been craving
especially this week. This week's been kind of weird.
I've just been like wanting like a big bowl of Alfredo pasta. Oh, okay. Back to topics. Doesn't that sound good though? My mouth is drooling. Oh, jeez. Okay.
You love pasta. I'm not really here for that.
I love pasta.
Kind of hurts my stomach.
I want pasta and I want a big pizza. I want some Papa John's pizza, thick crust, dip it in some ranch sauce.
Doesn't Papa John's have gluten-free?
But it's not the same. Nothing's the same as like a real pizza.
Well, wish in one hand, shit in the other, and see which one fills up with. That's a quote everyone should live by.
All right, bring it back.
Okay, we're coming back into the story here. We're at about mile 10. And we are definitely, even though we took the off day in Siloam, we're really feeling it. Like it's
probably because of all the shit we're eating.
Yeah. Looking back, it's definitely what we ate because we were drinking enough water. I feel like, I mean, sleeping well, and really the distance. It was flat ground, so that wasn't really challenging.
Yeah, the heat does take it out of you.
The heat does.
Yeah.
So we only went like another 5 or 6 miles before we said, okay, we're going to stop here. It was just on the side of the road. Like it wasn't a really ideal spot at all.
No.
You know, we got our however many feet off the road, got in between some bushes so cars couldn't really see us.
We were just laying low. We ate some ramen, finished off the birthday cake.
And then we go ahead.
We ended up raising, we had said that once we hit $500 raised, because we were selling buffs, like to raise money for 10 Minute Bottle as well, but to have merchandise. And we said once we hit 500, we'd give one away for free, and then every 50 we hit after that, we'd give another. And we ended up giving away 7 buffs because we raised $750.
Okay. Your numbers change every single time.
What? How many bucks?
It was 700 yesterday. It's 750
today.
No,
750 is right. It's always been 750. Sometimes I think your noggin doesn't do a good job listening.
Okay. My apologies. 750. That's how much we raised. Maybe.
Well, everyone go back to the stories and we'll see.
Yeah, and let us know. I'm not sure. Anyways, that was really cool, and that was really fueling us. I mean, at least me. I think it was to you too.
Yeah, that was our first big push of like raising funds, so it was cool in a sense of, okay, awesome, we can really do this. We can really raise money and make a difference. Like, it was really cool.
Yeah, and we were struggling too. I mean, even after this point, the first little while until we really got going, having that sense of purpose and a sense of like, we're not actually helping with the nonprofit. Like all we're doing is raising awareness and raising funds. But when donations aren't coming in, you don't really feel like you're doing anything. And so
what's going on?
So when those days happened, it really helped kind of reassure us that we're doing everything the right way.
Yeah.
Okay, the next day.
Oh, we ended up taking melatonin that night and just zonked.
Yeah, because
which made it so that when we woke up in the morning, Matt was Energizer Bunny.
That was true. I was feeling good.
And it doesn't matter how much sleep I get. I would love to lay in bed for the rest of my life.
You grab that little monkey. we had the goals of making it to Aguila the next day, and I don't remember how many miles it was to Aguila.
I don't either.
But that day, not a lot happened. We met this guy, probably one of the first guys to pull over and talk with us, with his 2 dogs.
Yeah, he had really pretty dogs.
Interesting fellow as well.
Yeah,
I remember.
I don't remember the conversation.
But he donated, and then we ran into a guy from England who was bicycling, and he was bicycling from like the West Coast to Holbrook or something, like a certain stretch.
Yeah, but he was on more of a tighter schedule because he had pre-booked hotels throughout.
That's right.
And so he had to like kind of get going, but we were the first people obviously he saw walking.
Yeah, he's like, huh.
So he stopped to talk to us. We were also listening to a Matthew McConaughey podcast, so that really kept us going.
Yeah, and when it keeps Grace going, it keeps Grace going, if you know what we mean. When she raises her eyebrows, people watching
no one knows what that means.
Okay. We
Even Grace doesn't know what that means.
we made it to Aguila early afternoon. Again, just one of those small towns where there's a couple really small little gas stations. There's a couple shops.
We were hoping to spend the night there, but we weren't really getting good vibes that maybe that was going to work out for us, but we weren't giving out hope yet. So we went to, there was one Mexican restaurant, and so we went there and we set up our chairs outside in the parking lot and we had ordered to-go food and we were waiting for it to come out for us.
Yeah, we got some Mexican colas.
No, we didn't actually. We were drinking those like orange
sodas?
Yeah.
But orange soda, Mexican cola style.
Yeah, yeah.
I still call those, I guess, Mexican orange sodas if they're in those cans. I just feel like probably cane sugar as well.
Yeah.
And then
I'm feeling like eating bad today. Okay,
you've been saying that. Grace got a quesadilla.
Yeah, it was good. It was stacked.
And I got probably the best torta I've ever had. Tortas are those little. It's like a ham. It's a homemade. It's a homemade bun. With it's like a hamburger, but a Mexican style hamburger. And throughout the walk after this torta, I was always trying different tortas, and I never had a better one than the one in Aguila. So I hope that shop's still open. Not that I don't know if I would get it, but that thing was so good.
He would. You would definitely get it.
We've cut out meat, but
it's all he thought. If there's one thing you like always still talk about, it's that torta.
That's the best thing I can ever think of that really sticks out in my mind.
Time since then.
Yeah.
But we were sitting there, we had finished eating, and we were just kind of sitting, waiting, getting ready to go, and then all of a sudden we heard cold beverages and come flying around the corner. Well, I don't want to say flying. He wasn't like driving fast, but
drifting.
He coming around the corner was Trent, who we had been corresponding with via Instagram. He had followed us on our first day. And looking back in it, it's probably because I did some sort of hashtag with like drone shot of our photos, and he's into drones, and so maybe that's how he found us. But he had started following us, and he had sent us messages saying, hey, I want to meet up with you guys. I want to interview you. But we hadn't really like set up a time or anything yet. He was just saying, I'm going to find you at some point. And so he had happened to be on his way going to Joshua Tree to interview someone else as well. And so he was looking, saw where we were, and just decided to come see us. And he pulled in, he got out his camera and stuff. He was interviewing us, having us show what was in Timmy. And we just had such a great conversation with him. We were there for probably 2 hours. 2-3 hours.
Yeah, probably 2, yeah.
And then it got to the point where the sun was starting to set, and we're like, okay, we have to go because we need to find a spot, and he still needed to keep driving, and so he said, okay, you guys keep walking, but I'm going to take some drone footage of you guys. So we kept walking. Yeah,
but before that, Trent was one of the first people we had met through social media that was just kind of like similar minded to us. And again, it was just one of those reassuring moments because we weren't going through moments of doubt at all, but we were going through a lot of growing pains and wondering if we're doing things the right way.
Yeah, like, is this the right path we want to be on?
Which has turned into our life now of just like, hey, let's throw brand new things into the mix all the time, and let's try to figure it out. But one of those reassuring moments, I had Grace's engagement ring with me this whole time, so it was hiding in. It transitioned from my shoe at the beginning of the walk into my winter liners, which I had in my clothes bag because I knew Grace would never find it.
I didn't know where it was, but I knew he had it because I figured or I figured he was at least gonna propose on the walk, because before he left, he was like, "I'm gonna propose in a way that nobody has ever done before," and just like with what we were about to do, when else would he be doing that?
And I had asked Grace prior, I was like, hey, how would you feel if I proposed on your birthday?
To which I said, hell no.
Yeah, hard.
My birthday's my birthday.
Yeah.
I don't know if other women are like this out there, or men, or whoever you're proposing to, but like 9 times out of 10 probably don't.
And so I was like, okay. But then, and this was before Trent had even came, but then I was thinking, well, the day after her birthday, that'd be cool to kind of do bam bam, but also
you weren't originally thinking that, were you?
For about a week I was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But Grace wanted it to be photographed, and so that was kind of like, I gotta wait for the right opportunity there. That's not something I can just like, hey, let me set up the camera and then let's do this thing. And so Trent said, hey, I'm gonna get some drone footage of you guys, and he filmed us for about a mile. And I'm just thinking in my head, if Trent for some reason comes back along the road in his car to take more pictures or something, that's my sign it's time to do it. And sure enough,
yeah,
he comes driving by, he's taking pictures. So I go not into panic mode, but just complete game mode in my mind of like, okay, it's about to happen. It's about to happen.
And he comes and he pulls over and he's like, hey guys, I forgot to get an intro shot, like of you guys walking or whatever. And so he starts talking to us, telling us kind of what he wants us to do. And Matt immediately, not listening to him, he like gets down, starts unzipping Timmy, pulling stuff out of the car. I'm thinking, what the hell? Like
there was no other way to do it. And in my mind, I'm like, do it now. Unzip, pull the bag
out. He was being, in my mind, I felt like he was being so rude. I'm like, what's going on? So I'm trying to still listen to Trent, like, of what he's telling us what to do. And keep in mind, yeah, we had just had a great 3-hour conversation, but we still don't really know this guy. So I'm thinking, I'm so sorry that my boyfriend is being so rude right now.
And I'm unzipping the car, and I'm trying to find a way, once I get the ring in my hand, of like signaling to Trent.
He goes like this.
Hey, I got the ring.
I saw it, Trent didn't. But I like kind of saw it, but it was such a fast...
Trent had to have seen it. He started filming.
No, he didn't see it because we had the conversation. But he was like, it wasn't until as you were coming around that he started to realize like, oh. And so then he started, is what he said. But I like saw it for a slight second, but I saw it so fast I knew what was going on. But I looked away because I like didn't want to know what was going on.
Yeah.
So I was like, nothing. I don't know. But I was like ready, and I just started shaking.
And, I said how I thought Grace was the most beautiful woman in the world. I've known I wanted to marry Grace since I met her, pretty much. Like when I flew to Iowa, which you guys can catch up on in some of our previous podcasts. But when I flew there,
our first podcast,
I told her that I knew I was going to marry her. But obviously, like,
I told
with
them
her
my
parents,
dad would think he was crazy.
Yeah, her parents not knowing me, like me flying there, convincing her to move to California. That's a lot going on. I don't know why I like to have so much going on at all times. Somehow it brings me peace, and now I'm noticing when I don't have a lot going on, I don't have peace.
Which is maybe something that needs to be worked on.
Oh, I'm definitely working on it, but it's a hard process for me. So I'd known the whole time, and I told her that, and little monkey was looking at me as in like, Dad? Like, she knew it was now getting a little more solidified. I just saw the look in her eyes. She was very happy. And we said our goodbyes to Trent.
Yeah.
And
he took some pictures, which was really nice.
We still needed to find camping, though, and it was getting dark. And around us is all farmland and private land and at that time, we're only a couple weeks in. We didn't feel like that was a good situation. Now, maybe we would have been a little more risky. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we might have. So we literally ended up, you know how you have a roadway and then the kind of little divots on the side of the road, where water could go or something? I don't really know what the point of those.
You could go sledding in the wintertime?
No, I don't really know what the point of those ditches are. But, we literally were sleeping in that ditch. So but the road was, it was kind of busy, but it wasn't too busy, so we weren't too worried, but we definitely were closer to the road than we should have been.
And we were still pretty, like, high off the moment, so we were up a little bit later, I think.
Yeah, well, we were texting our family.
Yeah, texting our family and that sort of thing. And we decided that the next day we were going to try to make it to Wickenburg. Even though we had decided we don't want to keep doing these 20-mile days, we also wanted to have a complete day off where we could just kind of...
Welcome to Matt and Grace, where if you say you don't want to do something, you're probably going to end up still doing it.
Yeah, never say you're not gonna do it again, because you will.
Yeah.
So we headed out towards Wickenburg the next day, which was about a 25 day. Uh, really beautiful scenery. I mean, the roads were nice to walk on. It wasn't super busy. You had some hills, you had some cacti. We ran into a trash pickup crew, and we were kind of jacked because we were all wearing our yellow vests.
So we got a selfie.
We got a little selfie with them, and
we saw a dead tarantula.
Yeah, we did see a dead tarantula, bigger one.
Yeah.
And then
that was our first live tarantula.
It wasn't alive.
Like real life.
Oh.
Because I had seen one in a zoo. Rosie held it.
Yes, our true real life tarantula dead on the side of the road. And we made it. I don't remember a lot of specifics that day. The weather was really nice. The weather was nice though.
Yeah.
And we made it into Wickenburg. First thing we did was go to Safeway.
I got cake.
Cake, wine. Not so good sandwiches. Really dry bread sandwiches. You were eating a lot of gluten.
Yeah.
That was bad.
A lot. I just decided F it.
And then our hotel was a little bit out of the way, a couple miles, so we do what we do best. We stopped by Maverick. Maverick, shout out.
Maverick.
You're in our top 5 gas stations. Congratulations for making the top 5. We grabbed some energy drinks.
Yeah. Classic. And then we just walked to the hotel. There was one hotel we had found that was dog friendly, so we went there. And then Matt wanted to take us out to a nice restaurant.
I wanted something luxurious, something really nice.
Something that said, "Congratulations, you're engaged." But how do you want to celebrate the rest of your life?
And actually, we did want to go to a steakhouse, but like all the steakhouses on whatever day we were on were closed.
Yeah.
And
they were super far away.
And so they were 3 miles away. So all we're left with, Denny's. We had some flapjacks. We had some of those good eggs. We had some bacon.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't like the best celebratory dinner, but it was.
I think I got a Fanta.
I'm sure you were on a Fanta grind.
Fanta's my favorite soda until I found out it had Red 40.
When did you find that out? Later on.
Yeah.
Not in the walk.
Oh. Even when I was traveling abroad, Fanta was everywhere. I would always get Fanta.
I don't really like Fanta.
Oh my gosh.
Same with Mountain Dew. It's just like
so good. I love Fanta.
And so we went back to we had our wine, so we went back to the hotel. The next day we went to the Dollar General. And gosh, Cosmic Brownies.
Matt has this problem where if you get sweets or have something in the house where it's like, oh, hey, it's okay if this 12-pack of brownie lasts us a whole week. Like, we have a cart you can put it in. You don't need to finish it all. Hell no. Matt eats all of it. And I would love for me to be able to say all we had was the Cosmic Brownies, but we got a plethora of things that Matt inhaled. All of it. Inhaled.
Why on these podcasts do you come at me?
I'm not.
You're like looking for opportunities to say, Matt has this problem. Matt has that problem. You want me to come at you?
Go ahead.
No.
This is supposed to be unfiltered, saying what's going on.
Unfiltered.
And the reason that you need to know that is because the next morning when we go to leave to start walking again, we've got somebody who's like, feeling just like absolute shit because of all the crap he ate. And not to mention,
you need to watch your language.
It's the podcast.
Still.
not to mention, we went to McDonald's for breakfast.
Yeah, so we got all packed up. We got little Monkey, little Dollar General blanket, her first of many to come.
Yeah, she peed on him.
And yeah, we hit McDonald's, and then we're walking our way out of town. I was feeling bad, like I had a headache, just one of those sugar headaches. Who knows how many grams of sugar I ate? My stomach's hurting. I'm like, I don't feel good. We made it to a rest stop.
Okay, this is not me coming after you. This is all men out there. For the most part, I have not met a man who's not like this. But when men don't feel good, it's like the most dramatic thing ever. Continue. Women can relate.
We made it to the rest stop area, and I was feeling better at that point. We kind of readjusted.
We had a talk.
And then we're still walking. So now we don't have any certain spot we're trying to get to really, other than we're working our way towards Phoenix, and we're just going to get there within the next few days. So we're walking. We see this dude who's all drugged out, and he's like going across the highway side to side.
Yeah, this was like this wasn't one of those roads where it wasn't that busy. Like, this was busy.
No, and we're like, we gotta walk by this guy.
And we felt like he was gonna ruin it for us. Like, we were gonna get arrested for walking because of him. Not arrested, but in trouble.
And we passed him when he started looking at this house. I don't know if he was going to steal something or whatever. And we're just like, let's go, go, go. So we're booking it and we're thinking he's going to follow us. And we see this hill coming up. And so we're just booking it for like the next 2 miles. He never ends up following us.
No.
We stop at a post office. We make our usual kind of ramen, fizz stick it up, ramen fizz stick combo, really keep us fueled. And we had thought there was going to be a Shell station coming up.
There was a big billboard.
So we were really excited to get some cold beverages. And we ended up getting up to the big billboard. And it said the Shell station was like 5 miles off the road to the other side.
Yeah, come to find out. Because we kept walking on this road. But there was like an exit to go a different direction on another highway. And so we would have had to take that road to go to that gas station, but we were walking straight. So now we're like, oh, go on.
It's also interesting too, because this last year in our Us in a Bus adventure, we went down that road. I don't remember what lake it is that's north of Phoenix, but they have all the wild burros, but we passed the Shell station, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to look back at it with that. But we kept walking.
It was just nice walking. I mean, it wasn't bad. We walked.
There was that cool train track.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. And so we just kept going, and then we kind of came into this little town. And this was like right before we were going to be getting into the suburbs of Phoenix. So we're starting to get closer, but there's still not really a lot. So this town had like a little convenience store, so we got some naked juices. And then from there, but there wasn't really anything to eat, so we kept walking. We knew there was no restaurants, but there was a subway station.
Yeah, there was Subway, not a subway station. Yes, there's a train. We're going to hop on the train and take it to Phoenix.
A subway station is in the station of the food.
And we make it up to Subway, and this was literally only one of 2 experiences we had at Subway on our whole walk. We got our sandwiches. We got some big 32 ounces of Powerade.
It was good. Okay, I will say Subway does always smell good when you walk by. That bread smells good.
And it's very distinct.
Yeah.
But we ate it, and within the next few minutes, we're walking down the road trying to find some camping. And we weren't going to walk very much farther because the sun was going down, but we wanted to get away from where everybody was there.
Yeah, we didn't want people to see us like go right across and sleep on the other side of the train tracks.
And I was feeling something going on in my stomach, and I'm like, we got to hurry this up. I don't know how long I have. And I think we ended up walking probably another mile around there.
Yeah. And then we went up. There was a little hill. We went up over the hill, jumped the train tracks, and then the train tracks, that's always kind of like a mound that train tracks are on. So we went down the other side of the mound, and that's where we were staying. But we barely got Timmy up over the mound, and all of a sudden Matt's grabbing the toilet paper. Where's the shovel? And just like sprinting off. He's like, "Don't look over here."
Yeah, and it was bad. It was bad to say the least. Really nice camp spot though.
Sunset.
The sunsets were nice.
It was our first cold night. We woke up cold. That was the first night that we were putting on our hats, our gloves, and everything. But then we had I went to school in Nebraska, and I was in a sorority, and so one of the girls who was older than me in the sorority was following us on our Instagram and saw that we were going to be coming into town. So she was like, "Hey, I'd love to get you guys a hotel for the night." And so we said, "Wow, thank you so much." So we were pretty jacked because we had that to look forward to. And so we started walking in towards the suburbs. This was like the Peoria area. And it was about 5 miles until our first cold beverage stop. So, of course, what did? We got some breakfast croissants. We got some amino energies. This was the second time that someone had told us they loved Foxy and wanted to breed her. So interesting.
Yeah, but this guy also said, "Oh, yeah, it's terrible for the dogs' bodies and stuff." I'm like, what?
Yeah, they were like, "It's so bad with how small they are. Most of the babies die."
But you want to breed it? You want to breed her?
Yeah. We're like, "No, she's fixed. Thank you."
We ended up making it into Peoria.
We went to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We got fried pickles. I love fried pickles.
Yeah. We're gonna have to get you food today or something.
I know.
You're starting to make me tense. And we made it to our hotel. they came and picked us up. We went over to their place. They got some pizza.
Yeah, well, she admitted to us. She said that she wanted to help us out, but she said that selfishly she just wanted to buy us a hotel room so that she could interrogate us and ask us questions.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like,
I'm
still not sure how I feel about it.
It was really funny, but we had a good time. Her now husband Noah was there as well, so we were all just eating pizza. Drake, I think she got some White Claws or something.
Oh, they even sent us home with drinks.
Yeah, it was great. Except
looking back, those days that we drank like that, the next days were always so much harder. I know, but even not even drinking very many. I think my limit's like drinking 1 or 2 beers.
But we also knew we were like, whatever, because we were going to be walking through a town, like a big suburb, which meant that we had multiple cold beverage stops if we needed pick-me-ups and
sidewalks.
And we were going to be making sidewalks, and we were going to be making it to the REI that day, which meant that Noelle was coming to pick us up, which leads us into that next day.
Yeah, so we only had 14 or 15 miles to get to the REI, and the most memorable part of the day was walking through these, what was that area called? With all the golf courses. It was a very certain specific area.
It was like called, it was like a sitcom, like Sun
City?
Something like that. And all you see are all these golf carts, and there's like golf cart crossing signs, and these guys are wearing these fedoras, and they've got their big ass cigars. Sorry for swearing. They've got these big cigars, but whatever, right? This is supposed to be the unfiltered. Anyway, they've got these. It's not like I'm dropping the F-bomb.
You're working your way there.
They've got these big cigars, and it just literally looked like a sitcom. It was so funny. And middle of the day.
It was like a 5-mile stretch too. I mean, golf course, then you go a little bit, golf course, and you go a little bit, golf course. Just all these retired
areas.
Yeah, they were great vibe though. They were having a good time.
Yeah,
probably just do that every day.
Yeah, they're all just drinking, cigars, golfing. And so we kept going. Matt also had figured out that any place you would see a Denny's, there was a Circle K across the street.
Most of the time.
He was a 2 for 2 on the hypothesis.
Maybe even 3 for 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, Denny's, Circle K. If you're in especially in the, that was mainly in that Phoenix area. We were noticing it. If you're in the area,
was a coincidence.
If you're in the area, take a look around. Circle K is our Denny's next to it.
Then we made it to the REI because our shoes like definitely needed replaced, because that was our first time replacing them, right?
Yes, and I really think that they were taking a beating too from walking on the hot cement.
Yeah, they're just like melting. Matt was able to get our favorite shoes walking are the Hoka ATR6 Gore-Tex. Matt was able to get his pair replaced. My pair they didn't have in stock, so I had to switch it and go with some New Balances. They looked super cool. Come to find out, they were not my favorite shoes at all to walk in.
You barely put any miles on those.
They were horrible. What did I do with those? I send them home?
I think so.
But I wonder where those are.
I wonder where my pants are.
Mom. Anyway, so then Noelle was living downtown at the time, and so she came to come pick us up.
Those pants were so nice.
I know. And this is really fun because Noelle is one of my best friends, and we like lived together in college and stuff. And so it was really fun for her to come pick us up, and we had just gotten engaged, so it was like, we were able to kind of celebrate with some friends, and she had some friends in town as well, so it was just kind of a big friend gathering that we got to be a part of. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of that. So we all went downtown, and then Noelle and I convinced Matt to let us have an off day to stay another day, and at first he was like, no.
And something I was still working on at this point, which I think we touched base in some of the other podcasts, is I had this vision in my head that we had to be camping a certain amount of times, and we had to be roughing it a certain amount of times, and we shouldn't be taking off days to keep a flow of things, which is, looking back at it, really dumb.
You had this like false expectation, especially with sharing it on social media, that we had to be doing it a certain way for people to think it was legit or something.
Yeah, and that's something I've grown definitely in that regard. And it's also something that I think is one of the biggest gifts of being able to do the walk, and hopefully on our next one as well, is when you're given opportunities, when someone says, hey, you can stick around for a day or so.
Take it.
Why wouldn't you? When are you ever going to do it again? You're in a brand new spot.
Yeah.
And so that's something that going into our next walk, the East Coast Greenway, I hope we can do more of.
Yeah.
I still do get very I want to go.
He's a Capricorn.
Yeah, I've been fighting.
I'm a Scorpio, so you can only imagine.
I've been fighting the Capricorn lately. It's been a big hassle, but it is what it is.
So we stayed another day. We got breakfast downtown. It was super fun. We had a really good time just being able to kind of just hang out. We hung out by the pool. And then we had decided that we were going to not go through the desert anymore, and so we were going to go through the mountains. And so that is where we were going to stop before we lead into that next adventure, because that was a deadly stretch. And we also had some unexpected friends, and we got a new unexpected family member.
Yes. We'll save that for episode 7. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening.
We love you.
If you want to follow along on all of our social media platforms and stay up to date in real time, make sure you check out our Instagram, our Facebook, our TikTok.
It's at the Golden Road with 2 G's.
We also have our website, which has a lot more information.
We've been putting those blogs out.
Blogs are coming out. Videos are coming out. We are planning the East Coast Greenway coming up this spring. We're super excited about it. We love you. Until next time.
Bye.